Hello and welcome to the Oily Crafter. Today we're going to be going over this showstopper called Running Horses by Welcome Home Custom. I purchased a design on Etsy from Welcome Home Custom, as I said, and I'm going to go through some of the deals that on how to put it together, on how I did it anyway. And I hope that you like our content today. Again, this is the Oily Crafter YouTube channel. I'm Judy, and let's get started. Hi, again, here we go. I'm going to start discussing how we did this big showstopper. It's 24 inch by 24 inch when you buy the pattern from Welcome Home Custom. I added on cedar on the sides as well as handles to make it into a serving tray for an ottoman. So she gives you instructions on how to make this, and she gives you a supply list, and I'm going to go over some of that right quick. First, you're going to need to pick, there are, in this particular one, 8 different species of woods. I have birch, walnut, mahogany, oak, and it's a red oak that I have, a maple, a hickory, a cherry, and a cedar. Now, also, the backer is a 1/2 inch board that I got. It's you buy it 2 by 4 feet, and then I cut it in half to the 24 inches using the table saw downstairs. But what I wanted to say is that, it's a pine backer. So it's not on her list. It's what I use. Okay, so then some of the other things that you're going to need, she recommends the Titebond 3 glue. And then she has on here paint and stain if you're not using the particular different species that give you the different colors. I myself, with this one here, actually used a spray shellac to cover it. And then I have, let's see, she has on here, the masking tape. Oh, I got that a little too far away. To cover the boards. So there's 12-inch roll that I got. And I'll explain that here in a minute. Painter's tape. You're going to need some kind of weights bigger than this. This is just what I brought to the table. Possibly some clamps. Another 24 by 24 board to put on the top when you're weighting it down after you glue it. While you're gluing, you might want some paper towels. And I have here a scraper my husband actually 3D printed me. I wanted these itty bitty deals right here for spreading the glue on the big board. Okay, and then let's go on back to the actual wood that you're going to be using. As I said, there's birch, walnut, mahogany in this particular one. She has also, you can use sapele, I think is how you pronounce it, for one of the horses. I just used mahogany again. Then the red oak, the maple, the hickory, the cherry, and the cedar. Okay, so these boards, for me, I have a Glowforge Pro. So I actually use this 12 by approximately 19 inches long pieces of wood. Okay, these are all Home Depot bought in basically Glowforge ready packages of 10 sheets of each kind. I already had them on hand. That's one of the reasons I used them. They're 1/4 inch thick. The one I have in my hand happens to be hickory. So as I said, you're going to have like the hickory and then the 1/4 inch maple, and you're actually going to have 2 of the maple because this one uses almost the full board. Then you're going to have, like there again, this is set up for a Glowforge. That's another maple. And one of the things you'll notice here, you won't find this in the file. I did a 2-inch deal here, and I'm going to show you here why. I wanted to see what my shellac was going to look like on my wood before I actually went ahead and decided to put the shellac on it. But on the back of it, I put on there, because you mask the front. This is what the front looks like. Kind of hard to see. There we go. This is the cedar. And I put on the back that it's HD cedar, the shellac spray, and this is the back. So I knew I wanted to put the shellac on the front so I could see what it was going to look like. And I did that with all of the boards. And you actually end up having 10 boards because you have 2 maple and then you have 2 oaks as well. And then one of the things you'll notice here on the front, the masking she was talking about, you mask the good side, the side you actually want to show on the showstopper. Because like with this HD wood, not all of it has 2 sides. It's one-sided. So that, in other words, it's like a plywood. It's got a veneer on the front of the actual wood. On the back is just some random. Now, there are some of them that are double-sided, but I can't remember which ones they are. So this one here is cherry. And there again, you can't see it because I have the masking on it. This one here is the cedar. And I always recommend when you put masking on your boards to write up in the corner what it is. It's I have 1/4 inch cherry, or sorry, cedar on this one right here. Each one has it up in the corner. Then there's the birch and the red oak. I have 2 of those, the mahogany and the walnut. So I have all these boards here that I cut for this showstopper. Okay, but to prepare the board itself, as you can tell, it has masking on it. And like when I cut these, they had masking on them, but I took the masking off to do the shellac. So when I got ready to do that, I took the masking off of it so I could put the shellac on there and glue it together. But to put the masking on, I use, like I said, this 12-inch, it's 12-inch wide sheet because it's the same size as my boards. Let me see if I can kind of match it up here. Wow, like this. Okay, so I have a cutting mat here that I spread it out on for 19 inches. Then I use a utility knife like this one to cut it with. I found that to be the easiest way to cut my sheets of the dual type for the back if I'm going to use that, or the masking. Okay, then as you move along, you got it all masked. Now, one of the things I want you to notice, maybe kind of hard to see on camera, you see these little like scorch marks here. Okay, that is from being face down, the mask side, in my Glowforge. And that's the way she recommends cutting any of the lasers, face down. Because on the back side, you're going to be scoring numbers. Because in her little map that she gives you in the instructions, which I forgot to bring in here with me, she has the numbers and you can find out where each number goes. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together. So the front, the side that's up, you can see there's a little bit of scorching there. I didn't put any masking on that. So you want to put masking on the front because you don't want it on your piece when you get it all glued together. You don't want to see the scorch marks on there. On the back side, it doesn't matter because it's glued. All right. So you got your board, you got it masked, face down in your laser. When you bring it up in your laser software, it's already set for the boards to be upside down. So you don't need to do anything with it if you bring it directly from her SVGs or PDFs. Just leave them alone, let them be. You don't want to change the direction because all these woods have a grain to them, and she has set them up to where the grain will go a certain way on each piece. So she has them set up for that grain to follow the way you see it in the masterpiece picture. That, or not masterpiece, it's a showstopper. So you get that done, get it on all the boards cut. Next thing you'll do is you'll take all those pieces, like I said, like a puzzle, and you want to have them, you're going to put them face side down after you take the masking off. So you can see the numbers on the back, kind of like where I did this on the back. You're going to see the numbers on the back. Put all your pieces together. You should have 2 pieces of 24 by 24 boards. One of them is going to be your backer, and the other one's going to be to help you flip it over after you get the glue on. So put it on your extra board, face down, get it all arranged. I used about 8 ounces of glue by the time I got done with this showstopper. This is a 16-ounce bottle. And we just kind of globbed it on best we could. We used a little scraper thing with the little triangles right there. Got that done. Get it all even as you can. And you don't want too much on your piece, because when you get done, you don't want it seeping up through the deal, which I did have that issue there. You know, even though they're close together, they're like a puzzle piece, you'll still get seepage if you got too much glue. So try to be careful and not put too much glue. But these here, I thought it was pretty good, but I still ended up having a little bit too much glue. But it worked great on getting it spread out evenly. Then we went ahead, we got it glued. And we flipped it over to where it was on the, we put all the glue on the backer, put the backer on there, got it all lined up, flipped it over so the right side was up. After that, we took another piece of board, put it on top of where you could actually see it, and then we started weighting it down. Well, my cedar decided to really curl, so I had to add extra weights. Now, what she has is sandbags, and they seem to work quite well. The only problem is I needed to be able to see the glue squish so I could wipe it off as soon as possible before it even had a chance to set. But if you have any that sets, these little scrapers come in handy. It's this plastic scraper. It helps get rid of the glue, especially if it starts to set a little bit. Don't let it get too set. But I've seen a lot of woodworkers use regular scrapers, you know, to get off glue once it is. But this is on, you don't want to mess up the front board. You got to be careful. If the weights aren't enough on the side, like I said, my cedar really curled up, I used some clamps. I do recommend that you get a screw handle one rather than the ones that do this, because I had issues with a couple of them not wanting to hold tight. They kept wanting to really loosen up. Okay, so then also, before you put your masking tape on, you want to just kind of lightly go over your board, make sure you got your dust off of it. I always use a microfiber cloth. So after that, you've got it all glued together, you got everything put on top, then you just let it set for 24 hours. You go back, uncover it, and that part, the actual showstopper itself, is done. Then we went on and we added the cedar edging that you see to make it a tray, and added the two handles on the side so you could carry it. And there will be some more video of us actually taking care of some of that in the garage. Thank you very much, and we'll move on to the next step.
As you can see, this is a serving tray / ottoman tray that she purchased, and we cut this out using several different materials. We have mahogany, we have walnut, we have hickory, we have cedar, maple,
hickory, birch,
and
walnut.
She cut out all the different shapes in the design. Each one is numbered to help with making sure that we get the puzzle pieces put back together again. Then we've also, if you look here on the side, we've also glued it to a backer board here. And in order to do that, we use this Titebond 3 Ultimate Wood Glue. And then once we got that in place, we put, actually 3D printed a glue trowel, if you will, that had notches in it to put the glue on there. And then weighted it all down with weights to make sure that everything stuck. All right, so for our frame, what we did is we went to Home Depot and we bought some 1x2 cedar. And then we measured the design out on the cedar there to where the sides here are 24 inches long, pardon me. And then the lengths are, they're approximately, what would you say,
25 and a half? Or
about 25 and a half, something like that. We measured them to exact length there. And then we used our Ryobi Ryobi saw there, miter saw, to be able to cut the boards to the proper length. Also used a Ryobi cordless sander. We use that to sand all these pieces down. And then the other thing that we did was this is the handles that we decided to buy here. And what we did was we measured those. We used some blue painter's tape across the back here, poked the holes, and then we laid it out on the board. We used a Ryobi cordless drill, put that in there and drilled our holes at the proper distances there so that we could put the holes through there. So at this point, we're ready to start gluing and attaching these side pieces here onto the board itself.
Okay, we've got 3 of our sides on. We're going to go ahead and show you what we're doing. We're taking the Titebond and we're trying to get a good amount here. So that we can now get this, kind of spread it a little bit.
Yeah, get a good even coat, but not too thick, not too thin, kind of a thing.
And then we got a paper towel to take up what's falling off on the back side here. And then when I lay it down, I'll wipe off the front if any gets on the front. And when we get done with this, we lay it down. And I just got a big old drip coming back down here. Let me catch that.
Yeah, you got some here in the front too, there in that corner right there.
Okay.
Be sure and wipe off the excess glue, whatever you do. Don't let it dry, because then if you're going to put any shellac or anything over the top of it, that would cause you an issue.
And on the front, I tend to use a little bit of water. Try not to get the wood too wet to help remove the glue while it's still wet.
And up there in that one corner right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, now I will take over the camera and Greg will take over the...
Okay, so we've determined the orientation of the piece here. And so what we're doing now is we're just lining that piece up. Right? Need your paper towel to get some of that glue off of my fingers. All right, so we are using a Ryobi brad nailer right here.
The Airstrike.
An Airstrike.
Has a battery on it, yeah.
And it does have again, it's a cordless one. So there is something interesting about the this is it does have a safety right here. So the trick is you pull on the safety, see the light came on, okay, then you depress the tip, then you pull the trigger to deliver a nail.
And I'm going to try to stay on the opposite end.
It's closer to me.
All right, how's that?
A little too far.
A little too close, okay.
Oh.
Alrighty, here he goes. Yeah, we've been having fun trying to learn how to operate the safety on that. For some reason, we've used it many times before, but for some reason it just was escaping us this morning. Okay, it's time for me to move to the other end. All right.
Hey, hold on.
All right. And then he's going to do one at the top.
One at the top here.
And then I'm going to switch to the other end and he's going to do one at the top in the corner there. All right, so got all of our sides on now. And we're going to blow it off real good and go ahead and get some shellac on it.
So just to recap, we did the cedar boards here that are the 1x2s here on this side. I think they're slightly smaller than a 1x2, even finish size, but we got those cut down using that Ryobi miter saw. We glued them in place, and then we used a brad nailer to nail them in here on the sides. And then we put glue on there first, and then brad nailed them in place. And then on the hardware here, those screws were just a little bit long for this piece of cedar, so we had to use this little washer here. And we put one on each side of the piece of wood there to help, because the length of the screw was just too long for that piece of wood there. But we've got that glued and brad nailed on both sides. And so at this point, the next piece will be, we'll have to clean it, make sure that this is good and clean. There's no sawdust particles on there. Make sure there's no glue on there. And then we're going to spray it with shellac. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right, let me tilt that out and see if you can get a little bit better angle on it.
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good.
I think so too. Okay, just to show you the difference, this side over here, she's already sprayed with shellac. This part over here is not. So just showing you the difference in the tones.
Okay, so as we go to finish up on our project here, I wanted to show you, I went and got my color wheel. And you may be not able to see the numbers on there, but she has this deal where you can plan out what it is, what colors you want. She gives examples up here of the different colors. It doesn't show all of them. And I wanted to give you an idea of what the, I kept calling it HD, short for Home Depot, but a box kind of looks like this. And this is the cedar. So the cedar, this is what it looks like unmasked. And as I said earlier, a lot of them are one-sided. So this is the pretty side. That's the plain side. That's not the cedar side. So this is one they call a veneer on the front. And this one is aromatic. You can smell the cedar in it. It's very nice. So there's the wood and the planner. And I wanted to say thank you. Hope you enjoyed the content today. I hope to be doing a few more how-to videos on putting things together, like the showstopper and any other designs I decide that are worthy of my time. But Greg and I'd like to thank you for watching today, that you enjoyed the content, and that you will go ahead and like and subscribe and maybe even share our videos. And we appreciate your time. We hope you have a blessed day. See you in the next video.